So I believe a lot of us here are very much interested in AI, in the new innovations around tech, generative AI, AI automation, and so on and so forth. And we would like to know what is the best thing that we can actually do to sell ourselves. Okay, and that is exactly what we have right here. All right, so we are going to be looking at the why we should even have a portfolio. Why are we even doing this in the first place, right? The what, okay? What do we need to do to get ourselves into this portfolio market or portfolio land, right? And the final one is how. How do we make that portfolio stand out so that recruiters can actually see it as worthwhile? Now, I don't want us to forget our main question, which is, if a recruiter Googled you today, what would they find? All right. What would they find? Now, I'm just going to take us through a simple, question and answer first, and then we'll dive into our main task. All right. So here we go. So the first situation or scenario is an individual without a portfolio. And then we also have an individual with a portfolio. Now, the first thing I want us to see here is this face right here. Now, if you are conversant with who this person is, you obviously know that right now, logically or not, there is nobody on my screen. Okay, I don't know if we get that psychology. If you get the psychology of the man in the picture, you let me know in the chat session. Who is this man? If you understand who this person is, you understand what it means when you say without a portfolio, all right, you are basically invincible, right? Without a portfolio, you are basically invincible, right? So when you are hunting for jobs out there are individuals who have a fully structured portfolio that shows who they are, what they've done, right? And the impact that they've had in their careers fully. This is outside of your normal CVs, right? The CVs have a lot of constraints, but the portfolio is, to an extent, boundless, right? So if you don't have a portfolio today, you are actually, shooting yourself in the foot, okay? You are actually shooting yourself in the foot because you are making yourself invincible to these recruiters, right? You are making them not to be able to see your capabilities, especially for those individuals who are transitioning or growing their careers into a new phase or into a new career path. You want to make sure that you have a portfolio that shows the evidence that you are able to actually execute or carry out certain tasks in your day-to-day business or in your day-to-day roles. Okay. Now, if you do have a portfolio, all right, a fully functioning and standard portfolio, you are well aware that you are going to be more visible, more attractive to these recruiters. Why? Because you have been able to show evidence that you can actually do the job, you have done the job, right? And you have presented it in such a way that it is easy for them to digest. And what happens? Your DMs are buzzing left, right, and center because they have something, they have an evidence that you have gotten the job done. Okay? That is exactly what we have here. Please note this, without a portfolio, it is much more difficult for you to actually land a job, right? But with a portfolio, it becomes much more easier, okay? So people value, or recruiters value, evidence more than, word of mouth. Everybody values evidence, in fact. So just imagine that you have an individual come up to you, right? Let's say you want to, work on or buy some new furniture for your apartment, right? And somebody comes to you and say, hey, I have a 4-year degree in carpentry and I can build these furnitures for you in no time. And then another person comes up to you with samples of the works that they've done in the past, showing you exactly what they've been able to achieve and how they can also meet up with your need. Now, I want to throw that question to us. Which one of these individuals are you going to hire for the job? The one that came up to you and said, oh, I have a 4 years experience, or the one that came up to you with samples of the work that they've done? Which one are you going to choose? I want you to type it in the chat. Who are you actually going to pick? Okay. All right. Who are you going to pick? The one with the samples. Fancy Omokoro, Omokaro. Yes. Paul. Fantastic. The one with the sample. Obviously, the one with the sample. So, how come we as professionals do not have evidence of our own work on display, navigating the job market in today's world? We need to make sure that we actually have that particular place or PO box that has all the evidence about what we can do and how we have applied them. Okay. And that is where portfolio creation comes in. Okay. That is why it is very, very crucial that we actually have portfolios. Now, I'm going to be dropping some truths bit by bit as we go along. Okay. The first one is that in AI and tech, proof of skills beats proof of certificates. I'm sure a lot of us have seen individuals, even without a university certificate, in the tech space, in the tech ecosystem, thriving and moving up the ladder in the tech ecosystem. Why? Because they have the skill sets. Now, they didn't just say, oh, I have the skills. They had a way that they actually portrayed themselves, showing that they have done this particular work and they have the skill sets to prove it. Okay? Now, that kind of individual would easily get a job more than an individual who comes in with a certificate. Every work or every company is looking for an individual who can help them solve problems, not who can show them the problem. All right? They are actually looking for individuals who can help them solve the problem, not who can show them what the problem is. Okay? So we need to note that about the job market. This is our number one reason why we should actually have a portfolio. Now, let's go on. Now, the first thing you want to understand about why you should have a portfolio is applied skills. When you have a portfolio, you have a place where you can showcase all the skill sets that you have. Let's say you are learning AI automation engineering. You can't just write it on your CV and say, oh, I know how to do this, I know how to do that. You actually have to prove that you have this skill set. Okay? You have to prove that you have the skill set. And how do you do that? By building a portfolio that houses the projects that you've worked on and tells a story about how you were able to arrive there. Now, we are not going there yet, but let's still talk about the skill sets. You cannot tell a recruiter or attract a recruiter by just telling them, I have these skills, I have these skills. Yes, it might work for you, let's say 15% of the time. But how about you cover the rest of the mile? How about you get a success rate of 60%, 70, 80% by just showcasing the skill sets that you have? Let's say you've learned how to use anything, or you've learned how to use Zapier to create a workflow, a dashboard, or build any proper system that actually helps a business thrive. You want to showcase exactly how you apply those skills. You do not just want to communicate it on your CV, but you want to show the evidence that you've actually made this work. All right? Proof is very important. It goes a long way for you to showcase what you know how to do. Now, aside from showcasing the skill sets in a portfolio, You also want to know how to communicate your skills clearly. All right. Now, a lot of these recruiters are not technical. Trust me, they do not understand most of the technical jargons that you would be putting on your portfolio as a tech professional or as someone who is diving into the AI space, either in generative AI for data analytics or, in fact, generative AI for HR and every other scope, right? You want to understand that communication clarity is important. Now, why is it important? Like I said, most of these individuals do not know what maybe anything can actually do. So how do you actually communicate for these individuals to understand what you have to offer? Of course, through clear communication, through storytelling, helping them understand why that process was important and how it has been applied into that specific project and what results that has gotten you. Okay? You are not just explaining the tools, the processes, the technicalities, but you're walking them through a story of how you actually solved a specific problem. Okay? You're walking them through a process of how you actually help them solve a specific problem. Okay? Now, that aside, there are also other things that we also need to look at. But first, let's look at the third option that we have here, or the third reason why. Okay? It shows your initiative and originality. Now, most of the projects you are going to work on are from a personal place, right? Most of us on this call are already in the program already, while most of us are joining these programs for the very first time, and we are looking to actually put ourselves out there to showcase what we already know. Now, you are going to be building certain projects that would actually showcase your skill sets. The way you present them will show your thought process, will show your originality, and will show your understanding of these concepts. Okay? Now, you want to make sure that once you lay out your portfolio, your communication not just only communicates to non-technical audience, but also proves that you understand the problem you are trying to solve. Okay? It also proves that you understand the problem you are trying to solve. Now, if a recruiter sees your portfolio, they understand that the problem they actually have in their company, this particular individual can actually come in and solve it. Based on what? Based on the evidence or the proof that they have that they can actually solve this particular problem. All right? So why do we actually need a portfolio? We want to showcase that we have applied our skill sets. We want to showcase that we can communicate not just to technical audience, but to non-technical individual. We want to also showcase our originality, our own initiatives of how to approach similar or different kinds of problems. Okay? We want to make sure that we can communicate all of this information clearly to the audience that are watching, show them why we actually took that step and the solution that we got at the end of the day. Now, like I said, recruiters are not looking for individuals that is going to show them what the problem is. They are looking for individuals that will solve the problem. Now, what does your portfolio play in this particular scenario? It actually shows the recruiter that you are eligible to solve the problem that they might be facing in their organization. They don't want another person to tell them, oh, look, this is what is wrong with the process. They want someone to come and say, hey, this is how we can optimize it, and this is what I have done so far. Are we together? Are we following? If we are on the same page, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up. All right, give me a thumbs up. Fantastic, fantastic. All right. So I can see some of us are still using the raise hand, but then just go ahead and give a thumbs up if we are on the same page. Now, we've answered the why, the reason why we actually need a portfolio, right? We need proof of skills. We need to be able to communicate. We need to show our originality and initiative when it comes to problem solving and solution driven innovations, right? Now, what do we actually need to know about these things? What do we actually need to know, and what do we actually need to do about this? Okay, so we have another truth bomb here. What recruiters actually care about? Okay, so we already know that they don't care about individuals that tell them, hey, I know how to use automation tools. I know how to create generative AI solutions or data solutions, right? They want to do what? They actually care about the clarity. I mean, we already know that recruiters don't spend at least more than 6 seconds going through your CV. We've seen this online over and over again, but guess where you can actually grab their attention? It is not on that your black and white CVs that you submit, but on your portfolios where your pages or your projects are properly presented. Okay, so recruiters are not interested in spending too much time going through your CV. Once they scan through, they look for the keywords. If they see what they want, good for you. But if they don't see what they want, what other proof do you have to stand out? Okay, now, like we have here on the slide, recruiters are busy. They are out to hunt for the right candidates, and they don't have time to spare. They want to make sure that they fill out the next position as soon as possible. So what is at the heart of these recruiters when they are looking out for these individuals? There are three things I've pointed out here, and then we elaborate how we can come in as individuals into this particular scope. The first one is relevance, and the second is clarity and impact. Okay, the first one is relevance, the second is clarity, and we have impact as the third one. Okay, the relevance of your work. Okay, how clear or how clearly have you communicated your work to them as non-technical individuals, right? And then finally, what was the impact of this job that you did or this project that you created? What is the end goal? What is the result? What problem is it actually solving? And for them, they begin to tie in how does it apply to this role that we are hiring for. Okay? It is simple logic. You need to be able to create that lineup that actually reels these recruiters into your DMs, into your live, right? And land that next interview. You need to be strategic about what they care about and then apply it. What is the relevance of your work? The clarity, how clearly have you communicated? What is the impact, all right, that it will have on their own business or in the project that you have presented? Now, what do we need to do to actually showcase or meet up with this particular need? Okay, the first main thing we have here is the ability to execute. Okay, the ability to what? Execute. Now, a lot of us are going to come through different projects in our classes. Some of us are just starting, some of us have already gone far in, and some of us are going to be getting started today, right? So you want to understand that everything that you are working on, you need to go through it in a gradual process, right? So what is your ability to actually execute a full project? And how do you execute it efficiently? Okay, what is your ability to execute a full project? Let's say, for example, you were asked to build an automation workflow for an organization, helping them to classify their leads. Okay, a lot of us here are familiar with marketing, how we bring in customers, respond to them. Some of us are in the dilemma of making decisions if this lead is serious or they are going to pay or not, right? Now you've been given a project to execute on how you can actually track, these leads and get AI to make that decision if this person is actually serious or not, right? Now, how well can you execute that particular project? That is the first thing that falls on you. Okay, how well can you execute that particular project? They will look out for that thing. Oh, this is what they did. Perfect. Goes well, flows well, and looks great, right? Execution checked. Now, the other thing that they are going to look at is your ability to solve these problems. Okay? Your ability to solve problems. Like I mentioned, you are building a project where you are actually classifying leads, eliminating the guesswork that we do as human beings, and putting that weight on the AIs to actually make that decision. Is this person going to buy or not? Is this person going to move forward with the process or not, right? So what kind of problem are you solving? You're eliminating the long time it takes for you to make decisions and the back and forth it takes to actually convince a customer or to know if a customer is serious or not. That is the problem you are trying to solve. Now that you understand that problem, how well do you communicate it to the recruiters to actually see the value for your work? Okay? How well do you communicate this information to recruiters to see the value for your work? All right? So, aside from these three key things that we need to note as individuals in terms of creating our projects and putting them out there, the three things again, I'll come again: execution. Okay? How well do you actually work on the actual project itself? The problem you are trying to solve. You don't want to solve a problem that is a missed goal. Okay? You want to solve a problem that actually gets you somewhere. Okay? That's actually leading somewhere. Now, another key thing is how well you are able to communicate these goals or these problems or the solution or the execution to the end audience. Now we looked at some lineups here that actually cross each other. We are looking at a Venn diagram here, isn't it? Now for the execution, we have problem solving attached to it, which is the practical design. Like I said, you have a practical project that you want to work on and you want to make sure that you get to the end of it, right? Now, the first thing that you are going to do is to think about the problem you are actually trying to solve, right? Before building the solution to it, okay? The problem you are trying to solve before building the solution to it, okay? So you want to make sure that when you have a project, you ask yourself about the problem. What kind of problem am I trying to solve? I gave us an example of a lead classification system, isn't it? That particular lead classification system is going to do what? It is going to help the organization cut down time on guesswork. Is this customer going to buy or not? It is going to help them narrow down the individuals who are actually going to do what, who are actually going to be a customer or buy their product at the end of the day. All right, that is exactly what you are trying to execute. That is the practical design. Okay, and the final lap of that is actually executing that and showing them the workflow, the pipeline, the processes that got you there, and then narrating the problem that you solved. Okay, now the other overlap that we have here is between execution and communication. And what do we have here? Clear implementation, right? If you are going to walk through a process, you have a start point and an end point. And for each respective information that you have there, you are doing what? You are expressing yourself and explaining what they mean step by step. How many of us have ever seen a portfolio here before? Any portfolio at all, in terms of you just went into someone's website and just checked exactly what they did. Now, I'm going to use an example of a Python script. For every step that is being executed, there's a clear communication as to what that step is, okay? For every step that is being communicated, there's a clear explanation as to what that step is. When they want to import libraries, which are tools that help them in their analysis, right? They do what? They say data library importation. or import library, right? That is the step that they are taking. Now, when they go into the step of data cleaning, they mention exactly what they are doing: inspecting for null values, okay, carrying out exploratory data analysis, filling out null values, whatever step that they are taking, they explain or communicate exactly what it is. Now, all of this overlap means that while you are creating your project, each of your project steps are going to play a significant role to the end goal. So while you are building it, you want to make sure that you state clearly what you are doing step by step. Okay? Now, aside from that, we have another overlap between the problem solving and communication, which is the explainable solution, right? So I talked about clear communication, and I talked about having a problem that you actually are solving, right? So the explainable solution is what? Back to our main example, we were talking about what? A lead classification system, right? Now, the explainable solution is actually eliminating that downtime it takes to make decisions about if a customer is going to buy or not, and cutting down the decision to focus on individuals who are actually going to buy products. Okay? So that is your explainable solution in this scenario. That is your end goal. At the end of the day, after execution, after solving problems, practical design, clear implementation, you want to also showcase your ability to actually create reasonable and useful solutions. Now, what does this do for recruiters? When they go through that kind of detailed portfolio, what happens? They have trust that that individual can actually handle the job. They've seen evidence that this individual can actually handle the job. Okay? And that is exactly what they do. All right? They go through your portfolio, they see what they want, they say, hey, this person is not just going to tell me what the problem is, but they are going to solve the problem. Okay? Clear communication, clear execution, and clear problem solving. All right? Are we together? Are we together? We are still together, right? If we are together, give me a thumbs up. I want to see those thumbs up coming up. Fantastic. All right. If we are together, give me a thumbs up. Fantastic, fantastic. All right, all right, all right. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of individuals giving thumbs up. I'm seeing a lot of individuals, going in and out. I believe that's just network, but then we still have a lot more to dive into. Now, we're slowly getting to the how, okay? But then we need to still clarify something. What types of AI portfolios, or what types of portfolios for AI or generative AI professionals actually stands out? All right. For the first one, we have generative AI projects, right? Now, in this kind of portfolio, you want to have some certain projects that actually speaks to your career path. Now, we have a couple of examples here in terms of ChatGPT powered assistant, image generator, AI chatbot, content creators, or custom AI agents that actually assist businesses to cut down times or processing times, right? If you are going to build a specific project, the first thing you want to think about is what kind of projects can actually speak volumes to my ability to work in this specific industry or this specific role. All right. So for some of us that are already in the program, we already know that these things are something that you're actually going to be building. AI agents, chatbots, creating them and implementing them into diverse business solutions. Imagine having something like that that is well sought after inside of your portfolio, broken down effectively, the execution, the problems that you're trying to solve, and the final solution communicated beautifully. And a recruiter comes across that kind of project. Trust me, you are going to be getting a DM or a couple of more DM than just a DM. All right. Now, aside from generative AI projects, we also have the AI automation projects. Okay. Now, for the AI automation projects, we're looking at systems that automate real workflows, report generation, lead qualifications, email drafting, or customer service escalation, right? So, like I mentioned, you are solving actual problems that businesses are actually looking at to automate. Okay? You don't want to create a solution whereby they come into your portfolio and they're asking, oh, what is the point of this? What is the reason why this person has this kind of project inside of their portfolio? You have to be strategic about the kind of project that you build, that you have inside of your portfolio. All right. So just imagine having a system that actually automates responses to customers. Now, not just that, because of the lack of assurance that we may have in terms of AI responding the way we want to, we can actually create an email drafting system that creates a response just for you to go review and send. Imagine that being on your portfolio, explaining exactly what the end goal is and how it actually helps businesses solve problems. Okay, these are key things that you would be building in class, and these are key things some individuals are already building. These are key things some individuals already have in their hands, and all they need to do is just to showcase it. Okay, so that individuals, recruiters can actually see what they have and patronize them based on what they can do, not based on, oh, I have 5 years of experience working on Python, building workflows, automation powered by AI. That's his stories on book without evidence. You don't want to be that person that talks. You want to be the person that actually shows. Okay? Now, we still have one more. All right? We have the analytics and the predictive projects. How many of us here are familiar with data analytics? If you are familiar with data analytics, give me a thumbs up. I know what data analytics is. I've heard of it. I'm interested in it. Whatever it may be, give me a thumbs up. All right, give me a thumbs up. Okay, fantastic, fantastic. All right, all right, all right. Fantastic. So yes, now for analytics and predictive projects, these are tools or processes or projects that would actually showcase how you can drive business decisions, how you can automate processes that drives business decisions, how you can handle large amounts of data in just the twinkle of an eye, and then generating insights that business can use to create informed decision. All right. So again, these are things, project suggestions that can actually be on your own portfolio, telling individuals, telling recruiters exactly what you have to offer. All right. So these are the types of projects that you should have on your portfolio if you are following any of these career paths. Things that help you stand out, things that show your ability to solve problems, things that show your ability to communicate effective problem solving and solution, and projects that actually execute effectively or efficiently from beginning to end. Okay, we are building evidence-based CVs and not just CVs on paper. All right, that is what we are going for. Evidence-based CVs and not CVs on paper. I remember earlier I asked a question about if a carpenter came to you and wanted to help you and you wanted to build a solution for them, right? The first thing is they are going to do what? The first thing is you're going to ask them for an evidence, obviously. And most of us, went for the individual that will actually come up with a sample and not the individual that, has a certificate, a 4 years or 7 years certificate in carpentry. You will always go for the person that has evidence, a sample to show you about what they have. In fact, I'm not sure anybody has, ever chosen a wedding caterer without actually tasting the food that, the wedding caterer is going to serve at their wedding, right? You want to make sure that the food is actually good before you give them the job. Now, the same thing applies in the corporate world. You want to take those projects you've done very, very crucial. All right. Now let's move on. Okay. We're slowly getting into the how, but let's look at portfolio structure that actually wins. Now we've talked about that on the what, but I want to just make sure that we clarify all these key points. All right. So before we go into the platforms where we are actually going to build all of this, we want to make sure that we have the necessary information. Now, the first is the problem. All right. In every portfolio, you want to make sure that you state the problem that you're trying to solve in that specific project. What is the opportunity? Don't worry, shortly, I'm going to show you exactly how you can present your problems in those scenarios. All right. Now, the next thing you want to be able to do is your solution. All right. Explain clearly what solutions this particular project is actually going to bring, or the solution this particular project is solving. All right. So you don't want to use too much technical jargons. You want to make sure that you have what the non-technical audience in mind. Because who are the non-technical audience? The recruiters that are actually going to sell these jobs to you. Okay. You don't want to position yourself in a place where you are hunting for jobs. You want to position yourself in a place where recruiters are hunting for you. Okay. Now, moving on, the results. Okay, I believe we've mentioned this already, but let's just clarify. Now, the result of your work is quantifiable measures of what that project actually gave you, right? So you are quantifying what, how this particular workflow reduce manual processing time by 70%, or the amount of money it saved, or the amount of hours it saved for the organization. Highlight some of the key things that was done before and now what is being done, right? You want to make sure that it is clear, very, very clear what you have to do. Now, you also want to make sure that you tell them what you learned, okay? What would you do differently? What surprised you? What were some trick challenges that you had building a specific project? And how did it sit with you, and how were you able to overcome that hurdle? Now, this is the proper structure that you use to actually present your project inside of your portfolios, okay? Making sure that the recruiters see what you've gone through, your authenticity, right? Your involvement in that project, and your POV, or your point of view in creating a solution for that specific project, okay? Now, moving on, how do we bring it to life? All right, we are closely getting to that point. How do we actually bring this to life? The first thing that we're going to look at, just to clarify this before we look at that, is descriptions. Now, the first thing we have here is the weak description, which shows us, a sample of what most of us usually do. I mean, in our CV, this might be fine. I built a summarization AI using Python and OpenAI APIs. Okay, it gets 85% accuracy on test data. In fact, in a CV, this won't fly. All right, this won't fly because it doesn't quantify well enough. Now, the issue here is that what we ask ourselves the question, like, okay, what is actually happening here? You summarized AI, you built a summarization AI for what exactly? What business impact did it create? What solution? What was the problem before this solution came about, right? What was it for? Summarization AI. What problem are you trying to solve? How do you get recruiters to care about this? Okay? How do you get recruiters to actually care about this? Okay, now let's look at what a strong description would look like. Now, this is for your portfolio, not even for your CVs, but you also want to make sure that things are very, very clear. Now, meeting notes can be overwhelming. This is you telling a story, right? You calm down and listen to that story. In fact, if I'm a recruiter and you start your project summary with a storyline, in fact, I'm going to go through that word for word. I'm sure you've seen some individuals who write blog posts even about their projects. Imagine a recruiter sitting down with that and reading through that. They get more involved, more interested, because they see how dedicated you are to your work, right? So that's the strong description that we have here as well. Okay, so what is the purpose of this project? And you go, Meeting notes can be overwhelming. I built an AI tool that distills 1 hour meeting into 5 minute summaries, saving team 3+ hours per week. I used OpenAI GPT-4 and built a simple web interface so non-technical team members can use it. Okay? Which one would you go for as a recruiter? Are you going to go for, let's call this description A? All right. Are you going to go for description A, or you are going to go for description B? Let's type it in the comments. Which one are you actually going to go for? If you want to call someone in for an interview and you see these two information in the portfolio description as to their project, option A or option B. Okay, I can see Vincent already saying B. Of course, we are going to go for description B. Exactly, we are going to go for B. It is impossible for us not to go for B. I can see Abraham, Ayomide, Clara, okay, Oluwatomi, Kemi, and I can see Adebowale and David as well. B is the right answer, okay? B is the right answer because what? It describes strongly where you are coming from and what steps or initiatives that you took to actually create a solution, okay? Where you are coming from and what steps you took to create a solution, okay? All right, so we are going to now dive into our main hows. Now, this is just a how to respond to what you can actually do to stand out. The difference between what we usually do, thinking that, oh, this would get them interested. Oh, I did this and it gave me this accuracy. It doesn't matter to them. They don't understand what that is. But when you create a story that drives them into the process, right? They understand where you are coming from and where you are going. Now you are on the same page. You are no more sitting on, opposite sides of the table. You are sitting side by side, understanding where you are coming from and also getting interested in what you can do for them. All right. So the problem, summary is more clear. It quantifies the benefits of actually creating that solution and how well you have considered others in your experience of building this project. Okay. All right. Okay, so moving on, let's look at some key areas here. All right, we are now going into the place where we actually have to be. Okay, we looked at the reasons why, what, how, right? And we looked at the power of actually having those three key areas. All right, execution, problem solving, communication, right? Those key areas help us build the main foundation as to presenting our projects very efficiently. Now, we now have another information right here, which is the actual tools that can help us present ourselves. I'm sure a lot of us are wondering, okay, now that we know exactly what to do with our project, how do we showcase ourselves, right? How do we actually showcase ourselves? How do we stand out? What do we need to do? And where do we need to put our work? All right. So where you host your work matters as much as what you build. We're not just going to focus on, oh, this is how you present it and this is what you should work on, but we also want to make sure that you host it in the right place where you can be seen. Okay, where you can be seen. Now we also have know the right place to host your career address. Now the reason why I call this career address is because it is basically your PO box to your career. It is the house that holds all the evidence about what you can do in your career path. So imagine coming, creating a PO box for your career path or your career in general, okay? And then a recruiter comes in and sees a mess, right? that would be quite, embarrassing, unfulfilling, in fact. You want to make sure that you make a key impression when they open the digital door into your portfolio. All right, that is your career on the line right there, and you want to make sure you present yourself exceptionally well. Okay, so let's look at this. Now, the first thing we want to look at here is one of the most used, okay, one of the most used platforms to actually build portfolios. All right, and we have no other than GitHub. Okay, we have no other than GitHub. Now we have two things that GitHub actually offers. The first one is the GitHub sites, which actually helps us to build sites that houses our projects, where we can talk about ourselves, our past experiences, and hit the nail on the head with the project that we've worked on. Now, the tips to this is that we can use clear README files to explain what the projects do and how we built these projects, okay? For the repositories, it gives us the ability to actually pin our top projects for easy visibility when recruiters come in here. Now, these particular platforms do not just provide a place for us to house our projects, but provides an accessible link for us to actually go in and get our recruiters in there to see the work we've done. All right. So your GitHub is your proof of work. And most developers, most individuals who understand what it takes to be in tech know exactly how to navigate this particular platform. Don't worry, I'm just going to, breeze in and show us that particular platform before we round off for today. But for now, let's move on to the next part, okay? Now, the next thing we have here is what you and I know as your personal website. A lot of us are going to find it very difficult to actually achieve this, but then there's a possibility that you can actually achieve it using all the AI tools that we have right now. I mean, we are here for our interest and love for AI to understand how it's shaping the world and how it can also transform our careers, right? Now, that is exactly what we have here as well, a digital address for your career prowess or everything that you've done in your career. All right. So we have tools like Vercel, we have Netflix, we have Wix that can help us build professional websites for us. All right. Starting from the front page, you can present yourself, talk about what you do. The next page might carry most of the key projects that you've worked on and navigation bars that helps recruiter move from page to page to understand what you do and how you do it. Now, this gives you maximum control and credibility. Not that your GitHub page doesn't do that already, but then it creates a personal space for you to actually showcase your work outside of what others are doing. All right? That is what we call, personalized showcase. All right? VIP display of your project. All right? So you can use it anywhere you want, your mobile, your tabs, your laptops. And also, one important thing, you have that digital key, that address, URL link that you can share inside of your CV and on any platform whatsoever for individuals to actually go in there, search, and understand what your portfolio is all about. All right? Now, let's move on. Okay, now what we have here is another thing called LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is one of the most underrated portfolio platforms that we have seen out there. All right. How many of us are on LinkedIn right now? If you're on LinkedIn, type yes in the chat. If you are not on LinkedIn, type no. I'm not on LinkedIn. Just type no in the chat. Okay. I'm on LinkedIn, type yes. I'm not on LinkedIn, type no. Fantastic. So I can see a lot of yes. You can see Clara. You can see Obu. Okay, let me know. Let me not spoil your name. Yeah, I can see Ade Bowale, Victory, yes, Justin, Abraham, John, fantastic. So these individuals, you do know what LinkedIn can do. I'm sure a lot of times when you open LinkedIn, you are saying, oh, I just achieved, a milestone of eating a spoon of rice and so on and so forth, right? A lot of achievements every day, but that is an impact that those individuals are making. They are pronouncing something on their profile presence on that platform, standing out every day based on one or as little as, certain milestones that they might have in their lives. Anything at all, they are posting it, they are showcasing it, and they are working individuals through their story of, starting to their success points. All right. So I'm sure some of us here are not on LinkedIn because I can see some no's. No, I'm not on LinkedIn. No, no, no. All right. So if you're not on LinkedIn, I would say to a very large extent, you are wrong. All right, to a very large extent, you are wrong. So I can see Lily also, mentioning one or two things. Okay, can the IP address of the creators be tracked? Right, so that might be in terms of going through your background checks. I don't see any reason why a recruiter will be tracking your IP address just based on the fact that you created a portfolio address. All right. So whatever the reason may be for you not wanting to be seen through, or your location not wanting to be detected through your IP address, you might want to, sort that out. We might have to talk about that one later. All right. So yes, now for the LinkedIn, like I mentioned, LinkedIn is one of the hottest joints to have your portfolio. There are a lot of recruiters on that platform moving every day, looking for candidates who can actually match up with the experiences that they need. All right. And if you are not posting your progress, your project, your journey, you are snoozing. Okay. You are snoozing. All right. So please and please make sure that you are actually putting yourself out there, and also make sure that you are telling your story every day. Don't worry, I'm going to show us all of these, platforms, how it works. And we are going to be taking some questions while we are doing that, okay? So that we can actually understand the impacts of these things and how we can, move forward from it. All right. Like I said, your LinkedIn is your personal billboard. If you have a milestone, post it. If you create a project, post it and communicate clearly. When a recruiter comes into your profile, they want to be able to tell what this person does. All right? What does this person do? All right, what are they doing? What are they getting themselves into? And so on and so forth. Right? That is exactly what it is. Okay. So I'm going to start with the LinkedIn, the GitHub profile, all right, just so that we can do a quick showcase here. All right, I'm going to start with that. So let me just go into my browser and let's start with GitHub. So I just want to open up my personal GitHub page just to showcase, what we have there. Now, like I said, GitHub is, I mean, I already have my LinkedIn, but GitHub is another place that can actually help you showcase your work. Now, all I did here was just to have a simple introduction of what I did, what my interests were, all right, just to get the person started. Now, for a long time, I did have my data analytics portfolio pinned here. And as you can see, you would have noticed that a lot of individuals have come in here to interact. In fact, this particular portfolio came up some, couple of months back, right? Just to, showcase that particular aspect as well. Now, for this particular portfolio, I have more information here. So you would notice that if you go into that portfolio, you will notice that all the skill sets I have as a data analyst in category has been outlined exceptionally well, right? So you have the Excel, you have Power BI, Python, you have SQL, and so on and so forth. Now, in fact, before they dive into these particular areas, right? Before they dive into these particular areas, okay, they can have access to my main page, okay? They can have access to my main page right here, which is the brief information I've given about what they're about to see, isn't it? Now, not just that, there's an output of the list of skill sets that they can find here, all right? The list of skill sets they can find here, you can see a lot of individuals have actually, copied that to just look at some things there, right? So if you go in here, all right, it took me a while before I understood that, okay, this is actually what makes the difference, right? So if you're not doing that yet, it doesn't matter if you've started since, bring all the projects that you've worked on and put it in there, right? So I'm just going to go in with, let's say, just SQL. I just use some, data points just to prove the skill sets that I have here, right? So right here we have an information, just briefly introducing the SQL part of things again, just talking about, okay, this is what is you are going to find in here, just to get the person started, isn't it? And we have SQL projects outlined, and once you go in, you are going to see an SQL script, okay, right there, properly listed, broken down into questions, step-by-step execution of what these responses can actually do, or the projects can actually do, outlined piece by piece. Now, I didn't just stop here for this particular SQL project. I went ahead to create something that can be displayed visually and easily digested by non-technical audience. All right. So it is not just, oh, I have the skill set, I want to showcase it, but how well can you also drive individuals who know nothing about your technical skills to understand these things? All right. This is free knowledge that we are getting right here, isn't it? And we are seeing it right here on the screen. Now, let's go into, LinkedIn. Okay, let's quickly go into LinkedIn. So I'm just going to type that in here, LinkedIn, right? All right, so yes, so this is, all right, so this is the LinkedIn information here. All right, so it seems like I need to just log in. So just give me a moment, let me log in properly. All right. Okay, fantastic. So we are right here inside of this LinkedIn page. Okay, so this is another portfolio that has been pre-built. All you have to do is just post your project and talk about it, isn't it? Now, this particular one gives you the opportunity to actually display yourself professionally, sell yourself even more better. And like I said, it is filled with a lot of recruiters. Now, guess what? It is not just another portfolio, but another portfolio that can house another portfolio. So right here, if you look at this link right here, this is my GitHub link sitting right there. And in fact, in some situations, I can also add links to my website just for them to go in there and explore. If you explore a little bit more inside of that LinkedIn page, you will see links that actually lead other places where they can interact with other projects, right, outside of GitHub. The same applies to this LinkedIn page as well. All right, so you want to make sure that you showcase yourself exceptionally well, right? So we have the about section that showcases the top skill sets that are being showcased here and so on. Now we have some key projects that have been featured on this LinkedIn page. And I'm not just going to talk about the ones that gave the most traction, but the ones that tell stories about what I actually do as an individual, as a professional, talking about technology, talking about fintech, talking about data, just to make sure that individuals, um, when they come into my profile, they know exactly what I'm doing or what I'm capable of doing. Now, that does not stop the fact that you also need to have things that showcase your skill sets or things that celebrate your milestone. Now, this is even just a birthday post, but it also celebrated career achievements in my career path. Now, that is the importance of visibility. Okay. Now, I'm not just saying this because, oh, go and post. I'm saying this to post strategically. I can guarantee you that there are a lot of different individuals you are going to attract just by posting. Put yourself out there, post your work, communicate clearly, execution, how you went through this process. In fact, let me just extend this particular project here. Now, this particular project is just about, commonly talking about the data project, what the insights were, what the impact was, and clearly what it can do. And the project did not just stop at this short description, but when you go into the project itself, you will see more things that actually describes it, right? So if you start interacting with it on the link provided, you see more things that that speaks on it, right? Now, this is even just a challenge that I entered in back then, just to put myself out there. You can do anything, you can look online just to find individuals who actually have challenges. If you look at the analytics website right now, there's a hackathon coming up. And some of us do have what it takes to actually be in that hackathon, but we are not taking advantage of those opportunities. So you can just check out the Analytics Instagram page right now. $2,000 up for grabs. But guess what? You can get an experience from that you can use to leverage your posting on social media, tagging analytics, which has a large audience, right? And reaching a large people at a time. Now, what happens? Recruiters are hunting for talent that can actually do some certain things. And when they see you challenging yourself and putting yourself out there, they are more interested as to your fearlessness to actually take on some kind of task and achieve some certain goals. Now, fortunately for me, this particular challenge was, one, but then I had to still put myself out there. Now, I'm also going to show us projects that maybe I did not win, but still attracted a lot of recruiters, all right, into my personal DM. All right, so I'm just going to show all projects that were featured here, and I'm just going to scroll down to some of the not so seemingly great, projects that might have not received a lot of traction. So this one is just a simple project on celebrating, I think, women. Oh, okay, this is just a data project. So there's one on celebrating women that I just did an analysis on to showcase top women in the world in different areas, in fact. And what were they doing? They were just, significant women that led a lot of different aspects of their organizations in in the society, right? Displaying them, what they did, how they did it, and so on and so forth, right? And what happened? A lot of recruiters came in to say, hey, how did you do that? Can you, replicate this, and so on and so forth? And I don't want to even go into my DM to showcase, the companies that these recruiters are coming from. You want to understand that when you put yourself out there, more people are attracted to your profile. More people come to you and ask questions. More people come to you and request for results. Okay. How do you do this? How did you do that? Or you even get DMs like, hey, someone recommended you based on your last post or your previous post, and I would like you to do this job. Don't we want to be chased with jobs? Do we want to, what's it called? Do we want to, constantly chase after recruiters for jobs? I want to know which one we want to do. Do you want recruiters to chase you, or you want to keep chasing them? Which one do you want to fall under? Which category do you want to fall under? Chased or not to be chased? Okay. So please, they are dropping links for you, WhatsApp groups. Please kindly join that. Okay. So Vincent said, I want to be chased. Exactly. So leverage your platforms. Leverage your platforms. You want to be chased, you make sure you leverage your platform. Please and please make sure to leverage your platforms. Okay. Post as much as possible, repost works that you find interesting, share your thoughts. Okay. Put yourself out there. Make yourself as visible as possible. Post, post, post. Okay? It doesn't matter the amount of individuals that liked your post, still post. Okay? So don't look at it that, oh, so just 5 people liked my post. Trust me, recruiters are not going to like. All the recruiters that have been in my DM have never liked any of my posts. But what did they do? They stepped in the DM and said, hey, I like what you do, and I would like to see you in this particular project or in this particular role, whatever it may be. You want to be chased. So every knowledge that has been dropped here is an execution plan, a process for you to actually showcase yourself and to create a PO box, or rather a HTTPS address for you to showcase your work, your career progress, everything that you've ever done in your career, what you interact with, what your interests are. In fact, there are some people that will just come into your DM based on the interest that you showcase. Now, most of that interest, at least for LinkedIn, for GitHub, should be things that stand out for you career-wise. Now, since we are talking in the area of AI, I can showcase also this particular AI portfolio that I have here, although not fully set up, but still a work in progress. Now, what do I have in here? I just have some projects that actually speak on what I have been able to achieve in AI engineering, from email classification, OCRs, and also AI automation build-ups that have existed here. So we just have a simple outline here: AI automation, AI engineering, where you see vector database projects, RAG database projects. If you don't know what that means, that will be broken down in the description of what that is, right? So retrieval augmented pipeline for contextual understanding, everything broken down, and certifications where necessary. So you have the AI engineering project listed out. Some of these projects were carried out with Python, right? Analyzing car reviews with large language models using Python, classifying emails with Llama. I'm sure we know Llama, the large language model for Meta, and then we have multi-input model for OCRs that was used to help classify some certain images to identify different information. Now we also have the AI automation engineering, right? Just listing out your information, putting things out there to actually showcase what you can do, right? So we have Telegram chatbots, RAG knowledge-based system, digital marketing, digital reporting, marketing analysts. Now, these things have been posted as images, but trust me, there's always evidence backed up to actually showcase what that particular image is, right? You can dive into the video folder. So imagine a recruiter coming in here and having the satisfaction of their life. Oh, they can see a picture. Oh, now they can see a video that actually talks about what the project is and how to make use of it, right? So you think about everything that you want your audience to have. It's just like having your own business, right? Just like having your own personal business. You think about all of those things that you want your recruiter to feel when they get into your portfolio, and you create it for them. Okay? It's not difficult. It just takes a little bit of time. Go in there and do what you need to do. All right? So, as usual, you can do your research online. Check out other individuals' portfolio, not just my own. I'm just in front of you right now, so I'm going to show you my own evidence, right? So you can do your research online and check out for diverse individuals that have outstanding portfolios, right? And you will see exactly what individuals do, how they actually create outstanding portfolios. But make sure your storytelling keeps on standing out, all right? Make sure your storytelling keeps on standing out. And again, I'll say this: you're not doing Telegram posts or LinkedIn posts for the likes. You are doing it to be visible. the right people would find you and they would not engage with your posts. All right. They would not be engaging with your posts. They will only be observing. I mean, not all of them, but most of them would come in because they want to get the talent you have to offer. All right. So as you are joining these programs, as you are becoming a generative AI experts and AI automation experts, whatever pathway that you decide to choose and move into, or whatever pathway you are currently going on right now, please and please make sure to build your evidence. Some of you are out there, you are looking for a community that will actually support your visibility. If you make a post, tag the analytics business, all right, and put yourself out there. But the card to actually tag the analytics business is if you secure your spot as a student, all right? If you secure your spot as a student inside of these programs, all right? You can also still do that when you create an amazing project, all right? You can tag the analytics business, and there'll be a lot of community that are familiar with the analytics business that would also engage in your post, either by viewing it, reading what you have, and making it much more visible to a larger scope of audience, right? So you can see a lot of consistency, just posting and posting. Now, I'm not going to be saying that I'm quite consistent, but I'm going to say this. I make sure that there is post at least once every month, and not just post from myself, but reposting other things that I also find interesting and intriguing. And I do want people that follow me to also see that. All right. So you're not just sharing this. This is one of those, interesting posts I made about resumes versus portfolio. And this was 9 months ago. And we are here right now talking about how to create a winning portfolio, right? So take advantage of all of these things. Go through posts online, read them. Don't just scroll and pass them because, oh, you don't like, the name of the person or something. I don't know. Read them. You actually find interesting information out there. Recruiters are reading, they are watching, they are looking, and they are very much interested in finding those individuals who can do, okay, for their job openings. Trust me, there are a lot of jobs out there. You're only applying with your CV, and most of them are not interested in going through your CV in details. Okay? They are not interested in going through your CV in details. So make sure you make enough noise to get them into your DM. I'm not saying go there and make noise and just tell them, oh, this is what I can do, and so on and so forth. Be strategic about what you post. If you are going to be applying for a job regarding one or two things, be very, very strategic about what you post. All right. So, yes, I'm going to go ahead and stop right here. I hope you guys had an amazing time in this session. If you had an amazing time, I want you to just go ahead and give me a thumbs up or a whoop whoop in the chat session. All right, so just go ahead and give me a thumbs up and let me know if you did enjoy your time here, because we are about to dive into another part of this session, which we are actually going to talk about how to get into this program so that you can also build your own portfolio. We don't just want to give you the knowledge, we want to make sure that you understand how to actually navigate your way into the program and land yourself that specific job, get on those projects that will actually get you in the right places, attract those recruiters to come in and, ask you, are you interested in applying for this particular position? If yes, okay, go ahead and share your CV and your portfolio. And the next thing you know, you are doing an interview, and next thing you know, you are, collecting your first offer letter. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hand over to Treasure. Hi, Treasure. Treasure is an amazing professional that is going to be walking us through exactly how we can get started. All right. So, hi, Treasure. If you are here,
Hi.
you're fantastic.
All right. Hi, Mary. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here. I want to make sure that the whole 113 of us are still on the call. So give me your favorite reaction. I want the energy in the house to be very high. We're going to talk about how to make money. And I think that is the very amazing part that everyone wants to hear. How can you use this AI to make money? How can you use it to make money? I'm not going to tell you to get rich in 10 days. Oh, please. I'm not I'm not here to give you that lie. It's not going to work with me. But I want to tell you realistically how you can position yourself to be better and than where you are at the moment and how to help you with that transition. Hi Mary, please can you stop sharing your screen so that we can all learn and benefit right about now. Okay? So now I'm moving on to the fantastic aspect of this session. I know Mary has gone ahead to show you, if you're a HR professional in terms of your portfolio, how can you create, how can you position yourself? Mary says she doesn't post often. That's a lie. Mary posts quite a lot. And I think that's something that we really imbibe in this organization. Putting yourself out there, building in public is one of the most important things that you can do as an individual. If you don't build in public, how would people know the cadres of things that you are able to do? And that's what we try to teach, try to imbibe in each individual. So please don't be afraid to start small. On LinkedIn, a lot of people feel like, oh, before I get that big project with Google, that's when I'm going to post, or posting is cringe. I've heard people say that over and over again. But I know for a fact, because I've gotten jobs across the world, both in Canada, in the UK, in Ireland, in Spain. I've worked quite a lot of places, and people will say that you're young. Yes, I'm young, but I started building right from when I was in the university, right from when I was in 100 level. If you don't plan and coordinate your life as you want it to go, I feel like this turns into a motivational speech, but anyways, if you don't plan and, in terms of how you want it to go, you would be stuck where you are and you wouldn't grow with the trend. Okay, so it's now important for you to learn the in-demand skills and how can you monetize those skills, and that's where building in public is very, very important. But I want to keep the time. I want us to be done and wrap up before 10 p.m. So I'm just going to walk us through some of the processes, some of the project classes that we have ongoing based off the World Economic Forum. So based off the World Economic Forum, the courses that are in demand at the moment are AI, data analytics, there is social influence, so all of that. And right now, we want to focus on artificial intelligence and how you can, make use of that in different spaces. So we're going to kickstart with the very first one, which is AI automation engineering. So when it comes to AI automation engineering, we are going to be teaching this course. If you go to Tenalytics or Tenalytics business page, you would see on YouTube, you see quite a lot of testimonials. Okay, these testimonials are individuals that have gone through our classes end to end. For an AI automation engineer, you're going to be looking at workflows in itself, talking about prompt engineering, talking about different LLM powered apps, how to use N8N to build workflows. I was able to build workflows. I remember when I was actively searching for a job, and then I wanted to automate that process end to end. What did I do? I used N8N. I created a trigger for every 24 hours for it to be able to, get jobs from different platforms, whether Indeed, LinkedIn. And then I created what I call a master resume that had all my experience in one point. So it would compare my master resume to each JD, and the JD that has a high compatibility rate of 80%, it would keep the information. Then it will go through ChatGPT with prompts that I gave it. I gave it like a 7-step prompt for it to review. And once it's done that, my master resume, it tailors a resume of 2 pages and all puts that document in an Excel spreadsheet. So all I need to do is just pick the resume and apply, pick the resume and apply. I didn't start searching for which jobs am I a good fit for. And this is just it's a simple workflow. And now I get to sell that as a product. That's one way to make money. That's one of the ways to make money. If I want to get hired as a full-time employee based off that simple workflow, I can get that as well. If I want to freelance, the workflow that I've created, I have different videos on it, okay? If I put it on my Upwork profile, I can get different projects based off that. And this is me just coming from the HR aspect. There's the finance aspect. There are simple things as just as sending emails. These are simple workflow, creating voice chatbots. You're going to be learning all that in the AI automation engineer. You're going to be working with all these different tools, N8N, Flowise, Zapier, Airtable, and all that. So the classes are going to be starting December 6th, January 10th. But the good part is tonight's business is 5. So we're giving our anniversary discounts. It's end of year. We all know that sales are typically end of year. So instead of paying the full amount, we'll get to that, how much you're going to be making payment. But this is one of the courses that we have. Moving on to the next one, we have generative AI for data analyst and HR analyst. So the HRs on this call, whether you're CEO, HR, CHRO, chief people officer, this is for you. So data analyst, you know that to learn the basic data analyst, there are the 4 key tools you need to know. Excel, if you're looking at the Microsoft Workspace, Excel, if you're looking at Google Sheets, if you're looking at Power BI for Microsoft, there's Looker Studio, there's SQL, there's Tableau. So all that's the core data analysis aspect. So how can you make use of AI instead of me to spend hours and hours cleaning data? How can I do it in less than 5 to 10 minutes? That's where generative AI for data analyst comes in. So you have Bricks AI that can help you build dashboard, generate insights in less than 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, let's not exaggerate, like 15 minutes, you're done. Something that will take you 2 hours, 3 hours to get done. So we want to use how can we infuse AI into this process to make sure that you're able to do things as quickly as possible. If instead of me to be working 2 hours, I'm not doing that in 15 minutes, I can use that time frame to go do a side gig. I can use it to do other, it just makes my life easier because I'm more productive in my role. And if you're an employer here, you want to register your staff to be more productive, a data analyst or a workflow specialist, you can go ahead to do that. The next one we have is for HR analyst professional. So for the HR people, you want to calculate attrition rates, the performance of your staff. You want to be able to make decisions based off those things. And then you realize that for you to create your dashboard, it's taking you a long period of time. You can do that with technologies like Claude, Gemini. Those are the very simple ones. ChatGPT, the ones we know. But there are more advanced ones like Quadratic AI, Zebra AI, N8N. You'll be able to create workflows end to end. So you can also choose to go for a course like this. And then for the very last set, the last two that I'm sort of biased to, because I'm a project manager, there's generative AI for project managers. Okay, so for generative AI for project managers, it's going to focus on the entire project lifecycle from initiation down to closure. What are the different tools that can help you with your business case, your project charter? I don't want to have to spend weeks and weeks on running analysis. I want to do that quickly. Okay, you have Perplexity, you have ClickUp AI. So the tools that I'm typically using, Asana, Trello, Notion, how can I do this quickly with the AI embedded in it? So these are the different tools that you can use. Perplexity, you have Gemini, ClickUp, Azure, and all that. So business analysts, talking about your process mapping, talking about being able to make decisions based off data. You're also going to be using different tools like Notion, ClickUp, Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, all of those tools just to help you do things a whole lot faster. Okay, so apart from that, what we also ensure is that we're not going to come in to talk like I'm talking now. I'm not going to be speaking so much. It's going to be practical. So what, like the class you had with Mary, so if you're creating a portfolio, you're going to be working on that. If you're working on any project, you'll be submitting that to a facilitator to review. So one thing that we try to do is on a week-by-week basis, after every class, you're going to be working on different practicals, okay? Because the very important thing when it comes to data analytics or AI is one thing to say, I know AI, but can you actually use AI to create those workflows? Is when you are able to do that, that you actually become an AI specialist. So it's very important that you are able to use each of these two effectively. And that's what sets you apart from each and every individual, okay? So these are the courses that we have ongoing, the different 5 courses that we have ongoing. So next question is, Treasure, how can I get started? Talking about getting started, our next cohort is starting 6th of December, 2025. And we have another cohort that will be starting January 10th, okay? So you can either go for the 6th of December or you can go for January 10th. And like I mentioned, we are having our discounts, the special discounts, because Analytics and Analytics business are celebrating 5 years. So instead of you to make payments of 200,000 naira for the training, you'll be making payments of 100,000 naira for AI automation engineer. And instead of you to pay 200,000 naira for generative AI for DA, generative AI for HR, or generative AI for BA or project manager, you'll be paying 50,000 naira as discounted amount. The good part about this is, to get started right now, you don't even need to pay the full amount. Whether you're starting in December, because I know a lot of people want to go and enjoy their December, that's quite all right. Your discount still covers you to January. So if you're starting now, for AI automation engineer, instead of you paying 100,000, you can pay 50,000 naira. Or if to start right now, you pay the 50,000 naira and lock in your discount. We have our sponsor only sponsoring for 30 people, and at the moment we have 22 people registered for the program. So 8 slots. I can't tell you between now and Friday what's going to happen, because if you have that question, I have no answer. Once it's full, we go back to the original price. For generative AI for DA, HR, business analysis, and project manager, instead of paying 50,000 naira for discounted price. But yeah, that's what we're offering. You can pay in 2 installments right now, 25,000 naira, and you get started to lock in your discount. So these are the two price points for each of them. And classes will be Saturdays and Sundays. So on Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and on Sundays, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, so if you are a working professional, which I think a lot of people, even if you're unemployed, we feel like weekend is a better time for us to have classes like this. So you go through your classes. And the good part is we're not only focusing on the training. Once you're done with training, working on your portfolio, we show you how to create an actual portfolio, how to optimize your LinkedIn. There'll be different employability skills for you to learn about. And then the certificate you'll be getting at the end of the day, it is internationally recognized by the American Council of Training and Development. So that means it's not only Nigeria. If you're looking for foreign roles, you have the opportunity to also benefit and make use of the certificates at any point, at any given time, wherever you are in the world. So just know that your certificate is standard and you can use it anywhere, anytime for the different programs that I mentioned on here. So those are the benefits that you are going to be getting. You'd also have support from your facilitators. If for whatever reason you're not able to join a class, classes are always recorded and you have access to the recording for life. So whether it's generative AI for HR or generative AI for DA or AI automation or generative AI for BA, it will be very, very awesome for you to get started right now. Once the discount is up, that will be it and would return back to the normal pricing. So I'm going to take a pause here because I can see some hands raised. If you have any questions, please, you can go ahead to raise your hand. You can drop a question in the chat, whatever works for you. You can go ahead to do that. So I can see Henry. I'm just going to go ahead to unmute everyone's mic. If you have a question, please drop your question in the chat. You can raise your hand and I would happily respond to any questions that you have. So yes, please don't be shy. Raise up your hand so that you can ask your question. For business analysts, what's the discount? Okay, Peter. Sorry, Henry, 1 second. Let me just respond to Peter. Business analyst. I don't know if you're not seeing my screen clearly. Instead of paying 200,000 naira, the discounted price is 50,000 naira. And then from that 50,000 naira, if you don't want to pay once, you have the option of paying twice. So paying twice means you pay 25,000 naira now, and the next time that you're paying the next 25,000 naira would be at the end of December. I hope that responds to your question. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'll take the questions in the chat. Let's just get the people that are raising their hands. Hi, Henry. How are you doing? Please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. I'm interested in the AI engineering.
Automation engineer.
So
Okay.
you said, am I seeing 50,000 or is it 100,000? What am I seeing?
The discounted price is 100,000 naira, but you can pay in 2 installments. You don't need to pay just at once. So if you are paying in 2 installments, that means your first installment would be 50,000 naira that you'll be paying now to either start in December or January, or you'd pay 50,000 naira now and then you join in January if you're not starting in December. So if you make your payments now, you either pay end of December, that's if you're starting in December, or you're paying end of January if you're starting in January. I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay, are they capstone projects?
Absolutely. You're going to be working on 6 capstone projects at the end of the day. So once you're done with the session, you basically be working on this project, you submit it. your facilitator will review. Once you have reviewed that your project is good to go, we would also advise you to post that on your LinkedIn platform, tag Analytics Business. For the best one, we repost. Once we repost, we also have possibility of placement due to the partnered organizations we have here in Nigeria as well as across the world, because Analytics Business is an offshoot of Analytics, and Analytics is registered out of Canada. So you do have opportunities of also getting foreign roles. The whole point of this training is not for you to just get skills, it's for you to get skills and also potentially transition, get a better pay and things like that. So that's what we look to achieve when we get you on this session. Okay. I hope I've been able to answer your
Okay.
question.
Yes. Yes. You're
Okay, so when are you looking to get started? Like I mentioned, discount 8 people, and then we are closing off for tonight. Janet, please just drop the information for
uh,
how they need to
how
register.
how long does this stuff take?
Okay, the classes are going to be for 2 months. That is 8 weeks. If you're starting now, the cohort is starting December 6th. Okay, that means from December 6th to February 8th because of the holiday. That's when your class will run for. So 2 months, 8 weeks, 16 sessions. You'll be taking the class end to end for the program.
Okay. Okay, that's there what are there any accreditations with analytics?
Absolutely. We have an accreditation by the American Council of Training and Development. So that is internationally recognized across the world. So whether you're using the certificate to get a remote role, a full-time, yeah, so this is the certification. So once you receive the slides, you should be able to see it. We are accredited by American Council of Training and Development. We were registered out of Canada. So the certification you're actually using is from Analytics, because Analytics Business is an offshoot of that. And that is an internationally recognized certificate you can use anywhere in the world. So this is the certificate you'll be getting after your training session.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, no
All right.
problem. I'm interested in the cause I'm interested in the December stuff.
But yeah, so just go ahead to register. So Janet has dropped the information. You can register on the website. You can pay to the account details and drop the information on the registration link. Send a message to that WhatsApp number, and then once we have confirmed your payment, you get access to the onboarding processes and just kickstart with that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Looking forward to having you in class, Henry. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So moving on, we have Cornelius. Cornelius, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, Treasure. Yeah, thanks for the explanation. And my question is, like for the discounts, AI
Mm-hmm.
automated engineer. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, if we, as in, if I'm paying now, or maybe probably before the end of the month, am I still qualify for the discounts?
So what I was mentioning is we're being sponsored for this discount. It's not just Analytics that is offering it. It is Analytics in partnership with some of our partners. We only have the discounts available for 30 people, and we started these conversations is on Saturday. So just to give you a bit of context, we had sessions on Saturday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's today. And between that time, we've had 22 people made payment for the discount. So we just have 8 slots left. So it's not even a matter of if I pay by the end of the month, because if the 8 slots are completed, that will be the end of the price, and then you revert back to normal. So if you are going for the AI automation and you have 50,000 naira to pay, now you pay and you register for it and you have secured your discount. That's if you're going for December course. If you're going for January course and you want to register for AI automation engineer, you can pay 25K now. So you know you're paying your other 25K in December to secure your slot for January. But if you're starting for the December course, just to reiterate, you're paying 50,000 naira now to get started with your class. I don't know if that answers
Yeah,
your question.
yes,
Oh,
thank you. So I'll make the payment. So I'll resume January. So I'll make
Okay.
25,000
All right.
payments.
All right. So just go
Okay.
I
ahead.
want to, I forgot to ask. You said if I pay 50,000 naira now, then um, am I to pay another 50,000 naira?
Yes, the discounted price is 100,000 naira. So you can either make
Okay,
full payments or you are making 2 installment payments. So if you are paying 50,000 naira,
okay,
that means you have a 50,000 naira pending. So if you're paying it now and you're doing December cohorts, you're going to be making your balance payment on or before the end of December. Okay, just to balance up. So that's it. But if you're looking to start in January, you need to make your balance payments on or before the end of January. Do you understand?
okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Looking forward to your registration. Please, guys, just do it as soon as possible because the
Sorry,
sheet is.
Treasure. Once I make the payments, where do I
Yeah.
send the receipt?
So my colleagues are dropping a link in the chat. You can
Okay,
see the account
okay, okay.
details. You see where
Okay, I
to
will go
upload
to
your
the
receipt.
chat. Okay, okay, okay.
All right. Okay. So let's move on. Hi, Emmanuel. Your hands are raised. Please go on with your question. Hi, Emmanuel. Are you there? Emmanuel, are you there?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good evening.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go on.
Yeah, about 3 days ago or so, I made a payment for the registration for project management, and up until now, I've not gotten any details for classes and all. I was wondering. I sent a message to um, one of your colleagues, and up until now, they didn't give me any feedback on when my classes are going to start, because I'm making a
Okay.
payment for 3 installments. I made a 40,000 naira payment, initial payment, to spread the remaining balance of 60,000 naira. That's 30,000 naira before. Um,
Yeah.
so, and then I was wondering, nobody has given me anything, any response
Wait,
and
wait,
all.
when did you make the payment?
Friday last week.
Friday last week. Okay, so you're going to be joining the December 6th cohort for the session that is starting. And why you didn't get a response is because classes are starting December 6th. So you get an email on or before tomorrow later, you get an email, just affirming to that. Classes for AI and project management is starting December 6th. So all you need to do is just I've taken note of your details so that they will proceed with checking the information and sending you an email to that effect. Okay, Emmanuel.
Please do. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I can see Kemi's hand. So Kemi, let's have you. Please, if you have questions, you can raise your hand. I will still take the questions in the chat, but you can also go ahead to raise your hands. Hi, Kemi. Please go on.
Hi, good evening, Treasure. Good evening, everyone. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you
good
for
evening.
the information. So I just want to confirm, someone who is totally naive to AI, I've had no previous experience background. So I don't know what would you advise? Which of them would you advise I start off with? I also have interest in well, even though this is not related to AI, but I have interest in virtual assistants, and I just think that it would eventually assist
So
or
it's
help
related
me
to AI.
in. Yes, exactly. I think that I can leverage on AI. So which of them would you advise me to register for? I want to make an informed decision. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
All right. So for that, I would recommend the AI automation engineer, and here's my reason. Okay, quite a lot of people get nervous when they hear the engineer or AI automation aspect. So this is just I'm going to have to mute Emmanuel, please can you mute the mic? Okay, so when you hear the AI automation engineer, you get a bit worried that, oh, am I going to be doing a lot of coding? I can see that question in the chat. This is a no-code tech skill. What you're going to be doing is a plug and play activity. So you'd have like different tools you're working with. In N8N, there are different tools that it draws from. There's ChatGPT, there's Google Sheets, there's the triggers in there. You'll be working with JSON. All that is going to be just you walking through the workflow end to end for you to achieve a desired result. Okay, so it's a no-code tech skill. So for AI automation engineer, what you're looking to do is to improve your workflow. So for someone like a virtual assistant, how can you automate responses in terms of the emails that you're sending out? If you're speaking or if you're working for a virtual assistant for a C-suite individual, how can you automate their tasks? How can you automate your report to them? How can you automate your calendar? How can you automate your emails? Okay, how can you, these are the different aspects that you can do with the workflows. Okay, so there are different workflows, and for you to build that workflow end to end to help you improve your role at the very start, that's something you should be looking forward to achieve. And this is where AI comes in. So instead of you to having to do things manually like emails and things like that, you have the opportunity to do that automated. Your reports will be automated as well. Okay, because now you have workflows that work for you. So it's like you having your own virtual assistant as a virtual assistant, but this one does not collect money, doesn't collect a single salary because you have your skill set. So once you have that skills and you're able to create automated workflows that can help you achieve your goals, then you get to do, you can be a virtual assistant for 4 to 5 C-suite individuals, and you're able to manage it because you have an assistant yourself. And this is where the AI automation comes in. If you're going for any of the other ones, it is a bit more niched. So you would also need to have like at least a bit of foundational knowledge in them. But for AI automation, you could be a total beginner to get access to it, and you can go through it end to end without any issues. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah. So Kemi, when are you looking to get started?
I think I'll join the January cohort. Yes, I'll just think through it. Thank you.
Okay, but yeah, just to make you aware that there's the discount, and I don't want anybody on this call to miss out on the discount, because if you don't join the call, then that's us selling outsiders. So for you people that have joined, the discounts, anniversary discounts, I want everybody to take. Well, I don't know if everybody, but at least the 8 slots that are left, for people to take part of it as soon as possible. So even if you're looking to register in December or January, then you go ahead to do so. See, okay. Selecting, but I keep getting, and when I choose December, it allowed me to proceed. I'm actually available. Okay, so if you do this, just fill this form. What's this person's name? Choma. Choma, if you fill this form, you should be able to choose the January cohort of your choice. So just fill this form with your details and you should be able to go through. So I'm just going to go in for more questions. I think I responded to Cornelius and Emmanuel's. I think these are previous hands raised. Yeah. Hi, Joyce.
Okay, hi. Sorry, I came in a bit late, but I just wanted to understand the discounts. So is it 50,000 whole or is it 100,000 whole? I don't understand that bit. And then I would like to start off in January.
Okay. Okay. All right. Fantastic. So the full amount for all these courses is 200,000 naira, whichever one you're going for, 200,000 naira. But like I mentioned, we are offering our discounted amounts, anniversary discount. So the discounted amount, AI automation is the most advanced out of all those courses. So it is going for 100,000 naira. And then generative AI, whatever generative AI you're going for, is going for 50,000 naira discounted amount. Okay, so you can either decide to make your payment full, that's I'm paying 100K full, I'm making the full payment, and that's about that. Or you can pay in 2 installments because hands are not equal, so to say. Okay, so for you to get access to that, you need to pay a minimum of 50,000 naira today. If you're going for AI automation engineer, you pay 50,000 naira today, and the next time that you're paying your balance will be at the end of December. Okay, if you're going for any of the generative AI courses, you are paying 25,000. That's if you're going for 2 installments. You're paying 25,000 naira today, and then you're paying your balance at the end of December. That's if you're starting at December, you're paying at the end of December. But if you're starting in January, you're paying at the end of January. So these are the discounts and the breakdown. So you can either make full discounted amount payments now, or you can pay in 2 installments to get started. Joyce, I hope that clarifies.
One more question just to clarify properly. Now, I hear AI automation, AI generation. So is it that the one of the 100,000, does it consist of all the other courses,
Mhm.
or I need to pay for two different courses?
So it's more or less, how do I put it now in a way that you understand? If you go in for, I want to be very careful with the example. So AI automation doesn't cover all the other courses because generative AI for DA, HR, project management, and business analysis are niched courses. Why AI automation is a general course. That's whatever industry you are in. I can be in the educational sector. I can be in the financial sector. I can learn AI automation because AI automation is how can I automate my workflow. That's the AI automation aspect. But generative AI is how can I use AI to create different things? It could be text, it could be queries, it could be dashboard for my particular role. As a project manager, how can I use AI to create dashboard? How can I use AI to help create my business case, my project charter? But as an AI automation engineer, how can I use AI to automate my flows? Okay. So that's the two, my workflows, that's the two difference between both of them. Generative AI is, as the name implies, using AI to create something. AI automation is how to use it to improve your workflow. So you learn AI automation, the general aspect, but if you want to learn a niche aspect for data analytics, so data analytics, I already know Excel, Power BI, Tableau, SQL. How can I use AI itself to be able to clean my data, to generate queries for SQL, to generate dashboards for my visualization process? So that's the two difference between both of them. I don't know if that clarifies, Joyce.
Yes, it does. It does.
Yeah.
So that
So
means
which
I need
means
to pay for both of them if I want.
yes, exactly. You can pay for both of them. You start one now, you start one in January, February for the next one. That's if you want to get the niche aspect and then the automated aspect, depending on which one you're going for. Okay.
That's fine. That's 150. Thank you.
You don't need to pay 150. You can pay 75. Or you can pay 75. Okay, so to get started. Or you can even pay 50. That's pay 25 for generative AI for DA, and then start with December course. Then pay 25 for AI automation, then pay your balance for the AI automation by end of December to start for the January course. However you want to break it down, that will be easier for you, Joyce. But it will be great if you can, stake your slots for one of these discounts. Just do not want you to miss out on that in any way, form, or size. Okay, Joyce, are you there? Did you catch that?
Yes, I did. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. All right. So moving on, I can see Paul Mary Chimeze. You can go ahead with your question.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I also came in late and was not stable as well, but it's still clarification because I've been looking at the slide and trying to understand even with the explanation, but still not clear about it. Here we have 100,000 and then 50,000 and 50%, then we have 50,000, we have 25,000, and then
Yeah.
75 percent, and then you're saying something about the December period and the January
What?
starts up.
Yeah.
So I'm not very clear about that. The
Okay.
the yes, please.
All right. So just to go right again, we're having an anniversary discount. We are giving 50 to 75% off all our programs. Okay, so 50% off 200,000, that's 100,000. So if you're taking away 100,000 from this, that will give you 100,000 naira discounted amount. 75% of 200,000, that's 150,000. You're taking that out, you have 50,000. So the discounted amount for AI automation engineer itself is 100,000. The discounted amount for any of the generative AI course is 50,000. But we understand power spend or the power capacity in terms of spending for individuals is not the same. So if you're not able to make the full payment, you can pay in 2 installments. But you need to be able to get started with the course as soon as possible. If you can't pay 100,000 naira, you should be able to pay at least 50% of that. That's 50,000 naira for you to get started today. Okay, then you can also pay 50% of 50,000, which is 25,000 naira to get started. So if you can't pay this, you should go ahead to pay this to lock in your discount. I've seen 3 payments coming now, so please, guys, if the discount goes off, it's not on me. I mentioned that everyone should get it as soon as possible. So yeah, back to what I was saying. You pay the 50,000 naira. What? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. You pay the 50,000 naira 2 installments. Okay, for generative AI courses, but for AI automation, it's 100,000 naira discounted amount, and then you can pay 50,000 naira 2 installments. I hope this clarifies.
Okay. So there is a price tag for the AI automation engineer,
Yes, yes.
which is 100,000.
The full amount is 200,000. The discounted price
Yes,
is
yes,
100,000.
discounted price. That's what I'm. Yeah, the
Yes,
discounted price 100,000. Why the discounted price for the generative AI and the other ones, data analysts and all that,
yes,
uh,
50,000.
50,000. However,
Yeah.
you said something earlier that you advise one who doesn't have any of this background from 2 to 5 to go
To go
for
for
one.
AI automation engineer. Yeah.
Okay. And then the January December batch you talked about.
Hmm.
Can you explain? Yeah.
So there's a class starting in December. It's going to start December 6th. Or you can go
Uh,
for, sorry, or you can go
yeah.
for, yeah, you can go for the class starting January 10th. Okay, so the class will be for 2 months. December 6th to be finishing February 8th. January 10th to be finishing March 1st. So that's the time slot for it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Okay, so since I don't see any more hands raised, I'll just go to the chat. If you still want to ask question, please do raise your hand. We have again Caro. Sorry if I'm not answering your pronouncing your name correctly. For someone who doesn't have any knowledge as regards data analytics or AI, what do they do? Okay, so yeah, this is not limited to just data analytics or AI. I'm sorry if I've been using that as an example over and over again. As I mentioned, I'm a project manager and I still use AI in my day-to-day activities. Sometimes I make the mistake, I need to correct myself that I'm an AI project manager. So if you don't have understanding or knowledge in data analytics or AI itself, you can go for any of the programs because they are all foundational courses, like they are all beginner friendly. So you are going to start from the very scratch. Let me go ahead to share the curriculum so you can see. So if you're going for generative AI for DA, you see you're going to start from the foundations of generative AI. Before you go to AI automation, how to build the AI data analyst. Before you go to AI tools. So it's a from the ground up building. We just don't start a class and then you are going into the AI aspect head on. We take it on a step-by-step basis. So if you don't have any understanding of any of the process, you can go for AI automation engineering. If you are someone that doesn't have any understanding in data analytics, but you have interest in it, you can get started in GenAI for DA. We do have foundational courses on our LMS, the learning management system, for you to go through over and over again. You have the facilitators that will be supporting you through the processes. So even if you go through the recording and you're not clear on anything, you can reach out to your facilitator and they'll be able to support you end to end. Okay, that's the whole process. We want to ensure that you can use the skills. It's not about you coming to say that you've learned something. Can you actually use the skills? So that's where we are heading with the classes that we're offering. I hope that answers your questions, Organic Haru, if I pronounced that correctly. The can I learn web development? No, we don't offer web development. I mentioned the courses that were again. I'm looking forward to seeing you in class either December or January. Please go ahead to lock in your discounts so that you can join for whichever one. So 25K, 50K. I've left it on the screen. You can take a screenshot. Um Are there any other vital info to be shared? Can we start leaving now? If there are none, these are vital information, Danny. You can go ahead to register. If you've registered, you can leave the session. It is fine and good for you to do that. Just go ahead. Can one combine AI automation and Gen AI for DA? So for Chidebere, we don't advise that you combine both classes. And here's the reason why. You'll be working on a lot of projects. And we want you to be able to maximize your understanding of both of them. You can register for both of them. You can start one in December, you can start the other one in January, just so that you maximize your time. But having to do them together end to end is just going to be a lot of work. So you can register for both of them, but you can start at different time
I'm
frames.
taking this thing now.
Um, Chidebere, I hope I've been able to answer your question. I don't know if Chidebere is still on the call. Let's just see. So yeah, so you can register for both of them. You can lock in your discount for both of them, but you can start the class at different time slots. Okay, so please, what's the meaning of LLM? Large language model. That is what it means. So we're going to be working with different LLM tools. So that's the main impression. So get a class in GenAI for DA and you'll be learning so much more. The good part about GenAI for DA is that we're not only training just data analysts, okay? We're training data analysts and data scientists because there's information on Python and machine learning. So if you're already in that line, you know how beneficial this is going to be for you. So just ensure that you have GenAI for DA. Sorry, you have the data analytics aspect and the data scientist aspect. So Precious, I'm looking forward to your registration. Guys, please, the registration is going. If it goes, that's not on me. Just ensure you fill. For a BA role, can a beginner join almost? Well, I just mentioned this. Peter, for business analyst, we would give you foundational courses. Even if you don't have any experience in it, you can join GenAI for BA because we give you the foundational courses for the process mapping aspects, all the core business analysis before you now start to use how can you impute AI into your flow, Peter. So that is how we're going to be structuring it. Our programs are 100% beginner friendly. So you don't need to be intermediate to expert to get started. You can be a beginner and get started immediately. Peter, I hope that answers your question. Peter, if you're here, you can give me a thumbs up because I'm just going through the questions as I can see them. So Choma, okay, I think I've responded to Choma's question. Let's see. The classes are virtual, not physical. So Lily, classes are virtual, not physical. Constance, does automation, no, automation engineer does not require coding. Constance. So it's a no-code skills because it's just going to pretty much flow with plug and play. You're working with different tools and how you can improve your workflow end-to-end using this specific tool. So it's not going to involve coding. Let's move on. I have no tech experience. Olusayero, can I still participate? I just stated that it is 100% beginner friendly. You can be someone fresh out of secondary school, someone working a blue collar job. We would support you in getting through the process end to end because we believe in practicals. It's not going to be someone speaking, it'll be someone actively showing you what you need to do end to end. Let's see, what are product managers? Product managers fall under the Gen AI for project managers aspect. So it's AI for project managers and product managers. So like I said, you're working on tools like Linear, Asana, Trello, Notion, Monday. So all the core product manager tools will still be reflected with the Gen AI for project managers. Success, I hope I've been able to answer. Cornelius, I've mentioned the discount is 100,000 naira. Why is it 100,000 naira? It's a bit more advanced than the generative AI courses that we have. For business analysts, what's the discount? Peter, it is 50,000 naira. Yeah, I think that's about all the questions I see on here. So I'm just going to see if there are any other person's hand raised. So we have M&M Media. M&M Media, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you for all your explanation. However, my concern is about the weekend classes, that is Saturday and Sunday. And for now, most of my Saturdays are very busy for me. Honestly, I won't be available for the Saturday. So I don't know, even if I'll be able to be available on Sundays, how will I be able to meet up with classes that I'll miss on Saturdays?
Saturday. Yeah, okay. So before we just leave you, I just want to have a question. Is it December that you'll be busy, or would this still also affect your January as well? Or, okay, you're in media, so maybe like weddings, events on Saturdays, correct?
No. That's just a business name.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was just
That's
asking.
just
Okay,
a
so
bit.
are you going to be busy? Yeah, are you?
I'm into accounting, but my Saturdays
Okay.
is fixed up already.
Okay. So is this going to still?
Throughout, in fact, from now till next year is fixed up.
Okay. So just like you see on this conversation that the call is recorded, your classes would also be recorded. So once we are done with this session, for those people that fill their attendance, they get access to the recording. I'm not saying you need to fill the attendance for your classes, but you get access to your recording as soon as the classes is done for you to rewatch. And then if for whatever reason there are any parts that you are not clear with, you would also have a community. There's the Google Classroom, there's the WhatsApp community that you have access to the facilitator to ask any questions that you have. And he or she will be able to respond to those questions at that point. Okay. So you go ahead to ask your questions. The facilitator will be there to support. If you are not still clear and you need to get on a call, like a remedial class, just to get clarity, you get that because the facilitator will be there to put you through end to end. So that's one of the ways we cut that. So for whatever reason, if you miss a class, you get access to the recording, and you also have access to your facilitator every single time. So that's one of the ways we work with this. I hope that clarifies M&M.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. Okay. So are you looking to join? We have 3 more slots left. So guys, this is really up to you. You can lock in your discounts. I'm actually really not kidding. Like quite a number of people have registered. So please, once that closes out, that would be that about that. Thank you so M&M Media.
All right.
So hi Terence. Can see your hand raised.
Hello. Yeah,
Yes.
I wanted to ask, will the facilitator, is there anyone that teaches or that will teach anyone how to do AI creation? Because I'm a video editor and a director. So I want to
Yeah.
move into, yes, because I'm already doing search already, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to come in to see if to advance it and to see how to nail in more end client jobs,
Yeah.
mostly for
Fantastic.
advert.
So last time we had a cinematographer join our last cohort, and when he joined my clarity session, I think that was along the same lines. Like, how can he infuse AI into cinematography? So if you're asking me what would be the best uh, course to go for, that's AI automation engineer. And why is that? Because they would also be focusing on pre-editing, doing editing and post-editing. So in terms of like your video editing, in generating scripts, there's these scripts. There are quite a lot of AI tools that you'll be working with. During editing, what do you need to use and make use of the different AI tools? We're still going to be showing you that. And post editing, how can you also market the videos that you've created to a larger audience? We're also going to be showing you the process end to end. So to answer your question directly, we also have the AI aspect. That's why I mentioned that AI automation is the broad aspect, okay? Because it covers whatever industry that you're working with. So we would now have to niche and section it down to your own career path. Like you mentioned, you are in video editing. That person was in cinematography. So it's along the same line. So we already have material set out for that particular type of training. And that's what we're going to be working with going into the classes for December and January. Okay?
Okay. All right. All right. I'll see what I can do from now. Let me see if I can do the payment and post. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Terence. Please, guys, go ahead with your questions. Okay, so this AI, how am I so knowledgeable? It is years and years of experience. If I please go and register for the class, and you know how I'm so knowledgeable. To tell you to be very frank, I started my project management class with Analytics a couple of years ago. So the difference between then and now, what really made that difference is the amount of times that I'm able to apply myself in different projects. It's one thing to learn in class, it's one thing to work on these projects, but how do you build in public? Then you get to really know how that benefits you. Said Constance, this says the AI apps that will be used, are we the ones to pay for the access? Like most of them are not free. So for the duration of the class, you'll be working with the free version for it. Okay. So if you're using to like anything, you have like a 14-day access. So when you are teaching you, that's what you're going to be working with. But if you are now going to be using it full on, the subscription is anything between $14 to $20. So if you just if you're done with the class and you want to, start making use of that, that's an investment. It's just like investing into your business. Because if you are creating a workflow with it that is bringing you up to 20,000 naira per product, if I'm selling to one company, I'm selling it for 20,000 to 200,000, then you know that you're investing into your business and investing into yourself. If you're currently in roles as an AI project manager, I'm going to keep using that as an example because I'm a project manager, you are earning nothing less than 800K, because you are not, I'm talking that in Naira, you are not just an ordinary project manager. DAs are different price points, and business analysts are different price points. So you have to consider how much you're investing. If I'm investing 50K into my future and I'm currently earning 400K, 500K, and I'm saying the least amount, I'm not even saying that's what you're going to be earning. The least amount is 800K. If you're talking about in USD, you're talking about nothing less than 50 to 100,000 USD annually. You should know what manner of benefit it holds for you. So these AI apps, you're not going to be paying for the duration of the class, but as time goes on, and once you're done with the class and you want to fully set up, you do need to pay for the subscription. So Constance, I hope I'll be able to answer your question. Let's see if there are any other hands raised. Yeah, Constance, I want to see you in class. Cornelius, Emmanuel, please go and register. I don't want anybody to miss out on the benefits. Okay, somebody just dropped, so 2 more slots. Yeah, I don't want anyone to miss out on the benefits from the session. So please, once you make payments, please, it's very important that you upload your receipts in the link that is being sent. If you don't know how to do it, just send the receipt to the number that is there and they would assist you. Please, guys, ask me your questions now. Emmanuel, I don't know if you still have a question because your hands are raised. Cornelius, I don't know if you have a question because your hands are raised.
Yes, I do have a question, even though part of it has been answered about the tools that are supposed to be used
Yeah.
during the for the project management. Sorry about the noise in the background.
Yeah.
Yes, the tools basically that are going to be used for project management. I'm actually interested to know them and if they're going to be paid for the process during the course process. So you just mentioned that during the course process it's going to be free and you're going to be using it for coursework. But I just want to know the tools that are going to be used during the project management course process.
Okay. So these are the tools on my screen. We're using Perplexity, Notion AI, Gamma AI, Asana AI. So funny enough, the tools that we already use, like Notion, Asana, Trello, Monday, ClickUp, they have all had AI embedded. In short, Jira, they all have AI embedded into it. So it's now to show you what it can do beyond the normal things that you see it do. That's what we're going to implement and show you. And beyond that, Perplexity is completely different from the tools that we currently use. So instead of me spending hours and hours creating business cases, project charters, creating my Gantt charts, that's one of the things that I hated so much. Creating a Gantt chart, creating a WBS, creating a Gantt chart that would take me days to get done. I can do that in a matter of minutes. I just need to prompt correctly and I'll have it all structured out. When I'm creating my racing matrix, how can I do that and have it all structured out? That's what is going to be working on. So using tools like Perplexity, Gamma, Claude, even your ChatGPT, Copilot, all the things that you don't know, the small benefit that you don't see on a day-to-day basis is going to be really focused on doing this AI for PM course. So all those tools is going to be free. There is nothing, we ensure that for the duration of the class, you are not paying anything for the tools. So the tools that you're going to be working with for the duration of the class is going to be free. And it's also going to be tools that you've been working with previously, but now you're just focusing on the AI aspects of those tools and how to improve it. Emmanuel, I hope that answers your question. Hi, Emmanuel.
Yes,
Emmanuel,
yes, it does, please. It does, yes.
Okay, Emmanuel, I've not still seen your registration. Oh, please go ahead to register so
You
you
have
can get.
actually, I told you, I've actually
Okay,
registered.
yeah, okay, all right, yeah.
And
So
in
sorry
fact,
about that.
I'm even left with a discount, a balance of 10,000, right? Yes, because
Okay, all right.
I made a payment of 40,000, so I
Yeah,
exceeded the 25% mark actually. So
all
what I
right.
have balance to be balance balance up is actually what 10,000. At least I'm benefiting from this anniversary um
Discount. No problem
discount,
at
right?
all.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
okay, you said according to you, there's no class happening this November, right?
No, to December 6th. December
Okay,
6th.
so project management. Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yeah, and
So
project management.
I'm looking
All
forward to begin a career in
Yeah,
this light.
looking forward to having you. Looking forward to
Mm,
having you. All right. Thank you so much.
I want to be a PM guru, a PM guru. I did your handle.
No problem at all. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Hi, David. I saw your hand raised. I don't know why you put it down, but you can still ask a question. Please, David, don't be shy. You can, if you don't want to speak, you can drop it in the chat. Hi, David. David, I can see you there. If you have a question, please just raise your hand so that we can take your question. You can drop it in the chat. Yes, David, please go on.
Okay, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, please, I wanted to ask if you offer digital marketing and if there's any tool to enhance it.
No, we don't offer digital marketing. But yes, there are tools, there are AI tools to enhance it. But at the moment, we don't offer any course in digital marketing. But if you're looking on how to improve your workflow as a digital marketer, yes, there are AI tools for that. But at the moment, it would still have to fall under the AI automation engineering course. So because I know when it comes to digital marketing, things that you have to think about is like content creation. After content creation, your different ads that you'll be working with, talking about your content calendar, talking about the video editing aspect. So it ties back to the question that the other person asked. So when it comes to the pre-video production, so how can you write scripts in a matter of minutes? I know sometimes when I try to write scripts with AI, it's just it messes it up because it doesn't sound human and realistic. But nowadays we have different tools, for writing this. So even the script itself also helps you with that. People know about CapCut, but CapCut is not also really good like that for it. So the script has different aspects or different elements to it that helps you with writing your script. It also helps you with editing, especially if you are doing podcasts. And then once you are running your ads, how can you run the analytics itself? So for your ads that are not doing well, what locations, what areas are you targeting? Using AI tools to analyze historical data based off like the different locations you've done before. This is something that you can use AI to implement. And at the very end of it, it would improve your CPL. It would also improve your leads targeting, your conversion rates, and things like that. But the specific AI tools that you're going to be using for it, they quite vary because there are different aspects to digital markets, like I mentioned. There's content creation. Hi, David, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you too.
Yeah, so I was saying that there's the content creation aspect, there's the video editing aspect to it. So if you're talking about the content creation, you have like Jasper AI, you have Writer Sonic for the content writing aspect. Then if you're coming down to graphic design, even in tools like Canva has implemented AI into it. So there's Canva Magic Studio, there's Adobe Firefly, there's Design AI, okay, that you can use for graphic design. If you're not talking about things like the video editing aspect, there is, I think what is called is Pictory. I've already mentioned the script. The script is something that you can use end to end. If you're talking about SEO and analytics, you can talk about things like software SEO. You can talk about things like market news, even Google Analytics. If you're talking about CRM and emails, even the different platforms like Sender, Bravo still have their AI embedded HubSpot. So there are just different AI tools you can use, but it's divided into the sections because digital marketing is broad. So the different aspects to it, you have AIs that can work for them. I don't know if that answers, but that would be really under the AI automation workflow aspect to it, David.
Okay,
Yes.
no problem.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
which course are you going for, David?
The AI how do you put
Okay,
it?
automation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So please, yeah, please just maybe you be the final answer because I've been speaking for a long time. Yeah, maybe you'll be the final thing that I register for this evening before we, drop off on this session. But thank you, David. I hope I've been able to answer your question.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So let's move on. Hi, Organic. Sorry, I don't want to pronounce your name already. Please, why did you drop your hand? Please go on with your question, Carol.
Good evening.
Yeah, good
Uh,
evening.
Thank you so much for the section and everything. So my own is I'm not in town and I don't know how to connect. For now December then January. But my question is, after this offer is over, what's the normal price? How can I make payments? Then where are you guys located? Are you in Nigeria? Okay, if you're in Nigeria, where is your location? Is the class going to be physical or is it going to be virtual?
Okay. So the original price is 200,000 naira. Just go ahead to share that so you can see the original price is 200,000 naira. So if you don't benefit from the discount, so Carol, even if you are not in town, if you have someone that can make payment, I don't want anyone to have to, I won't say waste money, but for lack of a better word, waste money on paying the full amount. Even if you're not in town, you can, get someone to help you pay the uh what they call it now, the offer discount, so you can join. But the full amount is 200,000 naira for you to register. The classes are going to be online, virtual, just like I'm speaking to you. You have the classes go on, and then we are located in Nigeria. That's Tenalytics Business, but it's an offshoot of Tenalytics. So if you know Tenalytics, Tenalytics is based out of Canada, and those classes are priced in dollars and pounds. And we are the, let's say, offshoots that's focused on the Nigerian African markets, because Tenalytics did start from Nigeria itself before it became global. So if you are looking at our page now, you'd see that the programs that we offer in Tenalytics are priced in dollars. But then if you are looking at the page in Tenalytics Business, you see that it is priced in naira. So you can see these are the prices for the Tenalytics program. So Tenalytics Business is based out of Tenalytics. So we're trying to find affordable way for Africans and Nigerians to be able to get started in tech. So if you're coming back to the Tenalytics page, you see that whatever we're doing is priced in naira. So just to give you a bit of context. So, but majority of the staff works remotely. There is no like physical office for our trainings because all our classes are online. And if you want to verify, you can go to our social media, YouTube, people that have gone through our programs. You can all see that information online for you to look through in case you want to just ensure that we are legitimate, for lack of a better word. Kara, I hope that answers your question.
You did. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I hope to see you in class. Could be December, January to get started. Constance, yes, like I mentioned, AI automation works in whatever industry that you want to put it in. It doesn't have any specific industry that it is tied to. So any industry you want to work in, you can get ahead to get started with it. Okay. All right. I guess we have stayed right up to this point. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's session. I had a pleasure speaking with each and every one of you. It was a really great session. Fantastic session, by the way. All of you that stayed to this point, Cornelius, I'm looking forward to your payments. Chimeze, Joyce, Olawale.
I've
Cornelius,
actually paid.
Cornelius, I
I've
don't see
made
your
back
name.
payment. Yeah.
Have you filled the form? Or did you
Yes,
finish that
yes.
one name?
Yes, I've filled the form.
Did you finish with another name? Just so that like I'm sure.
Okay, yes.
Okay, because I'm looking at it and I do know I didn't see the name. All right, that's
Yeah,
great. Thank you.
Opelua. Yeah,
Okay, yes, then I've seen it then.
thank you.
Chimeze, Joyce, Olawale, everyone that is here up to now, Vincent, Success, Steven, Shelter, Olagbanji, Joyce, everyone, please just ensure to lock in your discount. Bulioma, I responded to your question in the chat. INE, Anointed, just go ahead to lock in your discounts and then you can get started as soon as possible. Okay, that being said, thank you so much, everyone. and enjoy.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Then
You
how
check
do I make the payment, sir? Um,
the
hello.
payment. Yeah, I can hear you. My colleague has
Yes.
been
How do
dropping
I?
it in the chat. If can you check the chat? Do you see the chat section?
I
Janet.
am using a phone, so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not using so I can't see it apart
Uh,
from.
but
Let me
do you
see.
know where the chat is? So I'm going to share my screen. Share
Okay,
my entire
please.
screen
Then I can
so that
screenshot
you
it
can
and.
see. Okay. All right. Or let me just share the tab.
So now
All right.
just.
Let's do this. Hi, Janet. Are you there? Okay. I think my screen is coming up. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Sorry, I can see your screen.
Okay. Yeah. So this is it. This is the account details. I'm just going to pause for you to take a screenshot so that you can
Yes,
make your
please.
payment. And then once you make your payments, sorry, I can't go back to the normal screen because if I do, you'd not see it. So make sure you make your payments. You can chat
Yeah.
this number up, which
Okay.
obviously, yeah, and then they'll give you the link to register. So once you're done,
Okay. I've done that now. Thank you very much.
yeah, please. I don't want to put you under any pressure, but like I mentioned, limited spot. So just make your payment
Yeah.
as soon as possible. Reach out to the person so that you can fill in the form and you still be eligible for the discount.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Chimeze. Um, Joyce. I'm looking forward for you to join this session. Joyce, you're sending me confetti. Joyce, you're sending me confetti. Looking forward for you to register.
Yes, I sure will. I sure will.
Okay. All right, then. Thank you so much, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye, guys.